What is going on? What is going on? What is going on, party people? It's your boy Coach D Brown, former big leaguer, former first round pick with the Kansas City Royals, man. And man, today is a special day, man. I know a lot of people, man. We've been going hard on this HBCU kick, and I am blessed, man. And it's very few guys that I know personally that have made it to the league and done well and had a great career based coming out of the HBCU. So many times people always wonder, how why is it so tough and can I get the exposure, everything that I need to come out of the HBCU? So I hear y'all talking. So I was like, listen, let me go get my man out here because he done did it. He done went started at junior college and we talk about went to Southern and did it. So I got him on here. I got my man Fred Lewis, former major leaguer, um, joining me, man. I appreciate it like crazy. Fred, I know you're busy out here in these streets, man. But man, Fred, if you could, man, have all my guests talk about where they from. I want you to go back to the beginning, man. Your playing career, man, as a shorty, where you from, all the way to where you are currently, what you got going on now, talk about it. But I want you to talk about your career, brother, if you can, man.
Oh man. Um, Started back in Wiggins, Mississippi, man. Growing up as a kid and you know, playing baseball ever since I was 5, all the way up through high school. Got drafted out of Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College, where I played football and baseball there, but turned it down. Went to Southern University, and I actually, long story short, I didn't want to go to Southern University. I wanted to go to Texas A&M, but moms wouldn't allow me to get the car. She said it was too far away from home, and so they wanted me to go to Jackson State. And I was like, I don't want to be nowhere near Mississippi. So, um, Southern University, I went there because of Ricky Weeks, and his name was ringing in the HBCU. That first round draft pick. You're gonna get seen, and so far so on. And went there, played 1 year, and got drafted in the second round. Went down from getting drafted in the 20th round, 18 rounds, man, from Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College. And, that was a blessing to just go, 2 hours away and get drafted, in the second round, high rounds like that, six pick overall. And, it was a, like I said, it was a blessing, man.
Man, so much in that, man. You from Mississippi, right? And you got chances to go to A&M in Texas and go to these big schools. Let me ask you this, man, because we talking about HBCUs, man, but I ran into a couple of your coaches over there at Gulf Coast a couple of summers ago. I didn't know. I mean, the facilities are nice because I've been hard on these JCs. We're gonna get into that Southern, but I've been a big advocate for the junior college, man. And I didn't even know you were playing two sports there. I just knew you went to Gulf Coast. I know Matt Lawton. I know y'all had about 3 or 4 dudes, man, out of that school over there, make it to the big leagues and have successful careers. I know we're talking about HBCUs, man, but I want to again, I'm an advocate for these junior colleges, man, because sometimes people be poo-pooing these junior colleges out here, man. So tell me again your journey, if you could just kind of give me the reason why you chose to go into junior college to play 2 sports out of high school before you got to Southern.
Um, Actually chose junior college because my older brother, he um, he went to the junior college first, Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College, and we're 6 years apart. So I chose junior college level because I was told that if I went to the university, that hey, you're gonna have to wait 3 years in order to get drafted,
Mm.
But if they want you now, hey, you can come up out of there now, as a freshman, you know, or a sophomore. So I chose that instead. But I went to Mississippi Gulf Coast on a football scholarship. So I got a full ride
Mm,
and walked on to
mm,
play baseball. So that was one of my main reasons for going to a JC over, going to a university, because I got a full ride to play football and I wanted to play actually both, and because the big thing was for me, Deion Sanders. I wanted to be, because Dion, prime time, flying from city to city, I wanted to see how far it was gonna take me, because that's
mm.
one thing that, I always grew up watching, because he the only guy that's played in a, Super Bowl and a World Series. So I was like, man, can I be that next guy? So that's the reason why I chose junior college.
Hey, I love it, man. The I mean, I was a two sport guy too, man. And I mean, listen, I football was always my first love, man. You did it one step more. You did it in college. I went I signed right out of high school, man, and didn't get that chance. But Dion was my guy. That's why to this day I tell everybody I'm a Florida State fan because of Dion. So for real, we thinking alike when it comes to there, man. So you get that full ride. So are you thinking out of high school? Are you thinking mainly football, or you just like, man, I want to keep, I mean, I guess you said it to me, but are you thinking two sports? I'm gonna try to make it to the league and be a two sport guy. Were you favoring one or the other?
Um, Actually, like when I was playing in major leagues, they always said that I played more football than I did baseball, but that's not true. So
Mm,
I was mainly thinking, you know, baseball, because I played baseball since I was 5. And
mm,
short
mm.
story, I only played football when I was in high school, because my parents told me that I was too small, and so I just jumped on the football team because they told me I was too small, because they told me not to play. And so then once, you know, I got to high school, I said, forget it. I'm going to do what they told me not to do. And I'm going to get out there and show them how good I really am at it. And it just went from there, but I was really favoring baseball because, man, growing up, man, you know, that's all we did. Tennis ball up against the wall with a broomstick, and, picking up rocks, hitting rocks with a broomstick, bottle caps, you name it. That's we made a game out of it. And you name it, we did it. Growing up. So I mean, it was baseball in my mind, but then again, I'm like, hey, I'm not gonna limit myself to just baseball. I need something else to fall back on in case baseball doesn't work.
Mm, mm. Why do you think they be quick to? And I mean, I had a football mindset. They were right on my side, but I played baseball just as long as I played football. But they always quick to, say, hey, he was a football player,
That
first. And you just said right here, you play baseball longer than you play football, but they quick to put that label on, hey, he's a raw athlete, football player trying to play baseball, but you played baseball longer than that. Why do you think they, so-called experts, want to do that to us?
you know what? I really can't pinpoint and say, but you know, off the record, I can, but right now I can't say. But I think it's more so of
It's the show, man. Say what you
talent.
feel, man. It's the type of show this is. Say what you feel.
I mean,
Say what
I
you want to
think,
feel, man. This is the type of show, man.
hey, I mean, I honestly think that they label us because, you know, of football. It doesn't. I mean, it takes a lot of skill to play football. Agility, and it takes a lot of skill to play baseball. But just to get uh, football in your hand, we have more skill to play football, and they think that we honestly don't have enough skill to play the game of baseball because they think that, oh, it's going to take time to hit this 90 mile an hour baseball versus, okay, all we got to do is throw this football out there and you got to run up under it and catch it, or put it in your hands and you got to run so they can't catch you. So, I, I mean, it's so many concepts to this, that I can, touch on. But I know the reason why they say it, and you should too. And whoever listening, they should understand where we come from when they say, oh, he played more of this sport than he did baseball, because they think that, oh, we don't have the talent to play this sport that long and to be good at it.
And what he's trying to say is that it's almost like when they call us the raw athlete and they want to label us and hone us in. It's a way of limiting us. And I say this all the time, Fred. I said, tell anybody, I said, the more I played baseball, the less of an athlete I felt. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a hand-eye skill court, and it's hard to play baseball. But as far as like, they always say they want athletes, but when baseball sometimes you decrease in athletic because it's just certain little things that you don't use when in baseball, but they want to quick to label us that like honestly from an athletic standpoint, I would just look at certain guys and be like, this is the beauty of baseball. This guy's nowhere near an athlete, but he's making millions of dollars because he got a right arm and they can throw, or he got a left arm and can throw, or the dude can mash home runs. But get him out on the field, tell him to run a pattern, or tell him to run a 40 or a 60, it will look ugly. You know what I'm saying? But I know what you're saying, brother. I hear you, man, and saying some of the same stuff I heard, but I want to get back and we could kind of get harp on this, man, because I love what you said about just going out there and playing baseball when you're young, man, hitting anything. That's a big thing too. I want to get back to that, man. But while you in Mississippi College, you had the chance to go to A&M, but you chose, you think of Jackson State, but but how'd you get to Southern again? How did that come about? Because you said Ricky was getting a lot of attention. He was like, man, let me go there and basically keep that thing going with all that tension that's going with Ricky.
Okay, so I had a lot, my brother, he went to Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College. After his 2 years, he graduated, got his associate. He went to Louisiana Tech, and you know, he went there, and they started, the big school. Of course, it's not a HBCU; it's a university. Of course, he's African American, so goes there, and they get him. Of course, he's better than whoever is there. Of course, of course, it comes his senior year. He missed out on his chance to, make some money. So, as a senior, they give you $5,000 and you take it or leave it or whatever, But the whole time he's there, he's playing against the Mississippi States. He's hitting home runs and all of this stuff. But it's that, he's an African American. And they put a guy in front of him. And, he's not able to perform and play like he's able to play. So my parents saw that and they were like, hey, we're not about to allow you to go to Texas A&M. So, and then my brother said, hey, here's the thing. If you're as good as you say you are, if you would go to any school and put those same numbers up, the scouts gonna find you, no matter what. So he also said that if you go to this school, that you're gonna get seen. And I'm like, how is that so? How is that possible? How do you know? He said, well, I did my research. Ricky Weeks is projected to be a first round pick. So you don't think that if you go to school there, that you're gonna get seen by all of these scouts and all of these teams, and they'll see your potential if you're putting the numbers out. Versus if you go to Texas A&M and you sit the bench, just because you go into a big school doesn't mean you're gonna always play. So I went. That's what made me go to Southern University, because of that. You know, talking it over with my family, and of course, like I said, you know, and I tell Ricky this all the time. You know, you the reason why I came to school here, because I heard about the tradition and how hard he worked, and not only that, winning the SWAC championships. And so I'm just not you know, going to be going to just any old school that's used to losing, you know, because hey, I consider myself a winner, and I want to be a part of a winning tradition. And not only that, I want to help contribute to a championship.
Man, so many nuggets you just put out there, man, and I hope your parents is hearing that. So what he's saying is he had to go through the, you know, he had to listen to his brother. His brother had to go through the difficulty of going to junior college and signing with a mid-major. Louisiana Tech, was a good program, and then balling out, but platooning, can't really show what he, even though he's balling out, gets bigger schools. And then when you go to a 4-year school, your junior year is everything when it comes to leverage and making money when it comes to the draft. So what he's saying is his brother had to come back to the senior year, and basically he has no leverage, and he's just they sign him for anything when you become a senior. So his brother hit them to him like, yo, put up the numbers, go somewhere you can play right away, and you're going to get the opportunity to get drafted. And they did their research and found out about Ricky balling out in Southern, where he was given maximum exposure at a black HBCU school. All right, so they did their homework, and then everything worked out. He went over there, balled out his first year. He had to sit at A&M. You know, he may have to have sat and you know, get a handful of games to show what he got, but he played right away and put up numbers. Is that about right? That's pretty much what it was, right, Fred?
Right, correct. So yeah, that's
all right. So
thing,
now,
you know, because I wanted to go, because it's I mean, coming from a junior college, I'm you know, fresh out of playing, and then to go somewhere where I know I'm gonna get on the field and play, and that's the reason why I chose Southern, because hey, and I'm asking Roger Kadar, hey, am I gonna play, or am I gonna sit the bench? Because look, I saw my brother go to the university, and he didn't play. He said, well, Fred, look, on my team, there's no guaranteed spots, but you can make a guaranteed spot if you come in here and put up numbers and you grab it. He said, because ain't nothing given to nobody. You got to earn it. And so I went in and I earned it, you know, and that was one of the biggest things that, you know, all of my career, you know, I had to earn anything that I got, you know, because, hey, you know, being an African American, go and play minor league and major league baseball, I've seen guys come and go. You got to go in there and earn it. You got to take what you want.
Preaching right now. Hey, all right. So now, because first of all, I know we're going to get into this pro side now, but we're going to talk some pro stories too. But I wanted to really hit hard with understanding for these parents to that get especially really good, you know, young black ball players. They feel like they got to go to the Texas A&Ms. They got to go to the Vandies and all of that to get exposure and get seen. And that's why I wanted you to come on, man, because you were the number 66 pick in the country. All right. Ricky was right before you doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, y'all proving that, yo, you can go get seen, get drafted extremely high, you know what I'm saying? And make it to the league based out of the HBCU schools, man. So I mean, that's why these messages needs to be out here and needs to be heard, because, you know, a lot of kids feel like they got to go to the big schools, but they don't understand. They going, regardless of how big you are in high school and how dope you think you are out of high school, you go there, your butt may be sitting, you know what I'm saying? And you probably got a small little time frame to do your work. But if you go to, you know, school like a Southern or something like that, it's just a longer leash. They ain't giving you nothing. It's just a longer leash to do your thing. You know what I'm saying? That's basically what he's trying to say, man. So, anyway, so you come, you go, you get drafted, now you balling out at Southern, man. And, are you sitting here saying, man, damn, I hope scouts look at me and, man, whatever, man. But, were they there looking for you? Were they out there?
It was scouts out there, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, I went to Southern and I made a name for myself, and my family. So, like, from the Giants that I never knew anything about. I've talked to the Pirates. The Pirates told me that they had me at a potential 8th-round pick. The Philadelphia Phillies. I had those guys, come, and I actually talked with with that same scout. He was here last year, and he was like, "Man, I scouted you, and I never knew that the Giants were gonna come out of nowhere." So here's the thing: the Giants had Dick Tidrow, which is the at the time he was the head minor league guy in the organization. So they sends him out, and of course I could see this, because Dick Tidrow had this big, bushy, mustache. So they
Uh-huh.
put like a wig on him. He got a trench coat. He's out there, because they know that if he's out there, that they are fixing to make a big sign. So, you
Hmm.
know, and I was told that he was out there, dressed up, and nobody knew that he was out there, and he just came out of nowhere. And they signed me in the 2nd round, man. I mean, it was quite a few other teams because at the time they were looking at me and Michael Gauss. He was with Jackson State, so we were at the SWAC championship, and so this is where I potentially got drafted in the 2nd round from the SWAC championship. So, but yeah, it was a
Mm.
lot of scouts out
Mm.
there, man.
Man, I love it, man. So you getting exposure, you balling out there, and boom, now your name is called. 2nd round, HBCU school. 66 out of all the thousands that are picked. It ain't like it is now with 5 rounds. Back in them days, I don't know if it was 40, but you around my time, I think it was still about 60 some rounds back in them days, right? So
Yeah,
you 66 pick in the country, man, out of HBCU school and get drafted by the Giants, man. So how tell a little some draft day stories, man. When you heard that call and getting signing in and the proud the feeling your family. Tell me that, man, because that's a proud moment right there, man.
man. You know, I always tell people because I've done several of these calls, and um, and it was like I could just say the excitement was like overwhelmed. It was so much joy that was in the house because I was at home and one of my teammates called me on my cell phone and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay. He's like, man, you just got drafted. I said, what you mean? He's like, man, you know. I say, no, not the 2nd round. He said, yeah, man, check it out on the internet. So around this time, man, we have dial-up. People don't know nothing about
Right.
dial-up internet. So you don't know
Right.
anything about dial-up, man. You it's where the phone is like, you know, it's scrambled. You hear this sound
Right.
and you hear nothing. You hear something to where the point to where it sounds like, oh, the phone is busy. So I'm on the internet and I'm searching. And I remind you that this team has been trying to reach me. And I'm
Wow.
on this
Wow.
on this phone, on the internet, just just, searching. And then I'm like, wow, you know, it's really, this team trying to contact me. Okay. So, I found it online, and then yes, second round. And I'm like, wow. Soon as I get off, the phone rings. They were trying to contact me and tell me, they was like, man, we've been trying to contact you to tell you that, congratulate you from being drafted by the San Francisco Giants. And I'm like, huh? I'm on this phone like, man, what? Really?
Right.
I'm like, all the stuff that I've been praying for, because, man, it goes back to a kid, man. I got so many stories, man. It's to where when I was in elementary school, being 5 years old, man, being, looking at the Cubs on TV, when Sammy Sosa and all of these guys were playing, man, and Ken Griffey Jr. and all of that, and I'm like telling people, man, that's gonna be me someday, and to finally get that chance to where, that chance come true, hey, it was a memorable moment, man, and I'm still, as you can see behind me, hey, this is behind me, this is the Giant Stadium behind me. This is the first stadium I got, my my big league, chance with the Giants. So, it was just it was a memorable moment, man. And my family, everybody was, excited because I had been through a lot in college. I had an accident, and I almost didn't go back to school and all of that. So I mean, it was just so much that was going on at that time, man.
I heard about that accident, man, and I don't want to hop on a negative thing, man, but that could have derailed you. It sounded like it was some horrible stuff, man, and mentally you had to really, go through and to push through to get to that, draft day, man. And I saw that, man, and I was sad, to hear about. I guess briefly, man, you ain't got to talk deep, man, but if you want to share, talk about, because that's part of your story, man. That, you had to overcome that, because that could be traumatizing. That could have ended, not only ended your life, but it could have ended your career, physically and mentally. You know what I'm saying? If because that's tough. Do you want me, do you want to hop on that?
I mean, I can share a little on it.
Yeah.
Back in 2001, um, it was a night where I didn't drink, smoke, or anything. So it was like I'm coming back. It was around Thanksgiving weekend. So all of my classmates from high school, all of us, we gather up at this one venue here in Biloxi, and everybody, knew about this place, and we all gathered there. So, me and my friend Terentium Galloway, he was on the passenger side, and so he and I drove down, and we went to this place where everybody was met. We met up at, and I'm walking around, looking at everybody. So long story short, I'm leaving, and that night is about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and it's raining, and so a lot of the two of my cousins was with me. They told me that, hey, we can't find our ride. We're gonna ride with you. And I'm like, no, y'all better go back and find them because, hey, this is what, me and him came together. So and then my friend, he asked
Right.
me, he say, is it okay if my girl ride back with me? And I'm like, well, sure. So, I'm driving my dad truck, and it's 3 females in the back, two of my cousin and his girlfriend. You know, we all went to Gulf Coast together. And so, it's raining, and this car on the side of me was like they were trying to race me, and I'm like, okay, I can't see. So as soon as I said I can't see, and I did the most unthinkable, put on brakes, and the windshield was like full of water, and so it the truck slid hydroplane from the story that I read, from what my mom told me, you know, from what she told in the story, that the truck flipped several times into the median. And so I kept getting asked by the highway patrolman, you sure that there was 3 people in the back with you? And I'm like, yes, because the one female that was behind me, sitting behind me, her name was Nefredi. She was up the whole time, and she told, she was talking to me the whole time, and she said, "Watch out," like that, and that's all I can remember was, watch out. And the highway patrolman asking me, he's saying, "You sure?" And I'm like, "Yes." Let me go back and see the truck, and they wouldn't allow me to see the truck, and so it took like I don't know how many years for me to be able to read that story because I couldn't get through, and I probably should have went and got counseling, throughout my career, throughout my life, probably even now, probably. But, that was something that still, messes with me to this day. And a lot of people, when I tell people, you don't know my story, what I've been through in order to be and get to where I'm at. And so, I was on suicide watch, because I fought it myself for that. Because, if it hadn't been for the parents that said, hey, you got to finish what you started, because I almost dropped out of school. And around, I say December, I was telling my parents I'm not going back to school. And I'm like, no, I'm not going. I mean, this happened and it's my fault. And so with the praying mother, pastor, community, I went back to school, and since then, man, it seems like a lot of great things have been happening in my life, and all the way up to this point, it's just, I mean, man, it's just been a blessing, man, because I faced it, I faced death right there in the face, man, and I was that close to not being able to tell this story.
So just to make, because you didn't, how many people died from that situation there? I just want to make it because you didn't say, who died, anything like that, man. So how many people, passed
So
away
all
from that
3
accident, man?
of the females that were with me, they passed away. My friend, he suffered a broken jaw, so he to this day still have no recollection of what happened. And he was, because when I got out the truck, I saw blood coming from his mouth, and I'm like, oh my god, like, my first thought was to get out the truck, stop, because I couldn't find my cell phone. And I tried to stop the first car. So it's several people saw it and they came back. And so both of my cousins and his girlfriend passed away.
So yeah, well, listen, you hear, man. Sorry for that, loss of those young men and women right there, man. But it propelled you, man. Everybody got a story that it can either hurt them, and like you said, you went through that little trying time in the wintertime. You're still going to have your issues, and no doubt about it. But I'm sure you had to use eventually that turned into fuel. Like I'm here for a different reason now, and more power to you, man, for getting through that. 'Cause that could have ended your career, man. But let's flip it, man. So you get drafted, man, and you get drafted by the Giants, man, and you twirling around in these minor leagues, man, and you get your first call up to the Giants, man. What year was that when you get your first call up, man?
Man, um, so I was in AAA, and I was in
Mhm.
we were in I think Iowa. We were playing the Cubs, and that that day I'm walking to get me something to eat, and my manager at the time he calls me.
Mm-hmm.
He say, "Hey, you're going to the big leagues," and I'm like, "What?" And he say, "Yeah, where you going?" I said, "I'm out walking the street right now, getting me something to eat." And of course, a lot of people don't realize, like, when you sign, man, you have to live off that signing bonus. And, you know, you're in the minor leagues, you're not getting paid much. And, you go from having $800 checks a month to, and so I was like considered a bonus baby or whatnot. I'm buying, people something to eat, food to eat or whatever, but we're in AAA. We're a step from being in the big leagues. And so I finally get that call, and I told all the guys and the rest of the team, I'm pretty sure the manager, he addressed the team the next day. Freddie gone to the big league, you know. And so I'm sitting there like,
Okay.
wow. So I get to fly from there, from Iowa, all the way to Denver. So I'm in Denver. We're playing the Rockies. So I get off this plane and I'm out of breath because of the thin air. So I'm like, wow, why is it like this? Why am I breathing so hard? Why am I, out of breath? I'm like, what is going on? So, you know, the manager calls me in, he congratulates me or whatnot, and he's like, all right, welcome to the team. Cool. All right. Saturday, didn't play. Sunday, I walk in looking at the lineup, and I'm like, am I gonna play today? I'm like, nothing. 5 minutes before the game. Hey Freddie, Barry can't play today. You think that you can fill in for him, and you think you can play for Barry today? He is he just don't feel like playing today. I'm like, is this my chance to play? Is this my chance to shine? Is this my chance to get out on the field? Am I about to tell this guy no? And I've been up all
Right.
night wondering why they brought me up here to sit on
Right.
the bench, to run, to pinch run, or what. Man, put me in the game,
Right.
coach.
Right.
So, man,
Right.
I'm telling you, I get up there, and of course, I've been up there a few times to where, like, September call-ups, they're not like
Right.
this. So September call-ups are
Right.
like, okay, you're going to go in, you're going to pinch hit, but you're not about to start. You just going up there to pinch run for Barry or to,
Right.
So
This
this
is it, though.
time,
This is your chance. This is it.
yeah. So
Uh,
they pencil me in. I'm in there. So, okay. I go up in there. I don't see Barry nowhere in the dugout. I'm like, okay, so he really not here today. Like, is he here? Like, I'm looking for him. He's not even there. They say he inside on the training room table. He resting. So I say, well, where is he at? They say he may come in, he may pinch hit to win the game. And I say, oh, so he here. Okay, cool. All right. So first at bat, base hit.
Nice.
Second at bat,
Nice.
home run. Third at bat,
What?
strikeout. Next at bat, triple. Next at bat, single.
What?
I done hit for the cycle that day. So it's Mother's Day.
No.
Hey, I didn't realize what happened until after the game. So they done told me that, hey, you're the 22nd player ever to record their first home run as a part of the cycle. And I'm like, okay. They was like, nobody ever done that since, I think, I don't know how long ago it was, but they told me that. So my first call up in the big leagues, I hit for the cycle, man. That was the most memorable moment in baseball for me that I can remember right now, man. That was, I mean, I watched it for Mother's Day, and I watched it probably like about 12 times, man. And I'm sitting there like, I can't believe I did that, because it brought back so many memories from back when I was a kid, just like, I don't know. It's just one of those memorable moments, man. And, if I can help any kid get to that level, man, I'm all for it. So.
Hey, that's a great story. I didn't know that, man. I remember you coming up. I remember watching on TV. This has to be what, 03-ish or something. When was your first call up? What year?
That was
I mean, what was that year right there? Your first. That was like 03-ish, right?
When I first got called up or drafted.
No, that year. That year. What year was that? When you got the hit for the cycle? What year was that?
That was 2007 in May for Mother's Day. Yeah, that was 2007.
Okay. Yeah, because I remember I was like, damn, I remember seeing that, but that's crazy. I can't recall that because that's your story, man. But then that's a hell of a debut right there, man. Listen, man, more power to you. I'm impressed with the cycle, but I'm impressed with 4 knocks. You know what I'm saying? First time out, four knocks out there. That's tough. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to get a couple questions coming in, man. So Mike Wilkerson says, was there a difference in competition, organization, resources, and reception from MLB as an HBCU baseball player?
It wasn't that. Yeah, I mean, competition. The competition it was kind of different because you got guys from all around the world, man, and you're facing different people, in the MLB daily, different arm angles, different arm slots, and versus being in college, man, it seemed like to me everybody threw fastballs, and then when I got to the minor leagues, everybody was throwing changeups, and I'm like, wow, why is it that everybody throwing changeups, and it looks like a fastball, because hey, in college, all we hit was fastball. We didn't stay in the box long enough to wait to see a changeup, a curveball, or anything. Because the year that I was at Southern, we led the nation in batting average. Florida Gators was number 2.
Wow.
Right behind us.
Wow.
So we jumped on fastball, and Roger Kadar, our coach, he preached on, hey, in this league, you're going to hit the fastball. If you can't hit a fastball, you can't get drafted. So, and that was the main thing that, they harped on as, hitting fastballs. But the competition, it was up there. You got guys that can run, that can hit, and just as good as you. So, I mean, it was great competition there.
Do you when did you in the minor leagues, was it right away, or when did you know yo, I mean, we all think it, but it has to be that year or so in the minor leagues where it's like the numbers show and you really get that confidence, yo, I can get to this league and do my thing. You know what I'm saying? When was that transition happen from college where you confident, you second round, but there are always them years in the minors where you struggling to, adapt to everything. But when was that year that you were like, yo, I can do this. I'm ready. You know what I'm saying?
Shoot, man. You know what? To be honest, after when I first got drafted, I hit in college 407. Ricky hit 495. And when I got out of when I got out of college, when they drafted me, I was like, because me personally, man, I was a guy that kept a high average. I was going to hit for average. I was going to hit your singles, your doubles or whatnot. I just didn't really try hard enough to hit home runs. The home runs just snuck up out the ballpark for me. So when I got drafted, you go to short season. They sent me to short season where you play 50 extra games. So this is new to me from playing 59 games in college. So I'm playing 50 more. So within that same year, you got 100 plus games under your belt. So I go to short season and I hit 322. And I'm like, I'm thinking that's a down year. Batting 322. And, I'm thinking that. That's me. Why? Because I've hit 407.
You was in the Northwest League, right? I think you was in the Northwest League, right?
400 in high school. So I'm thinking to myself, like, hey, that's a down year, man, and you hit only 3 home runs in 50 more games, 322 and 50. Man, you suck. And I'm like, what? So no, this is just me thinking this now. And so I'm talking with my manager and coaches. They were like, no, that's really good. Like, there's only one person that hit 400, and that was Ted Williams. And they were like, you're not going to hit 400 in this league. But from what I read in stories, that they written, they said, hey, someday Fred is going to win a batting title. He has a great eye at the plate, and he's very patient, and he's going to be successful in this league. But me thinking, like, man, I can hit better than 322, But I look at the back of my baseball card. You got some baseball cards over there? Let me get one. I look at the back of my baseball card, and I'm going to just tell you this. Playing 100 and something games is crazy. So, no, because think about it. See, in 06, out of 13 games, I hit 455. That's in the big leagues. So, 58 games, I hit 287. And 133 games, 282. So I'm thinking like, man. So then 09, I had a down year where in 122 games, I hit 258. And then, of course, 2010, I played in 110 games where I hit 262. So you see, those years and numbers, all of this stuff was beginning to get new to me. Like, oh, now I'm playing 100 plus games. So I'm playing every day, every single day. So I'm sitting there like, man, yeah, you really sucking now. You playing 100 plus games. But no, that was just my mindset. If I didn't hit 300, I had a down year, or 400. Right. I had a down year coming out of high school. So, but now I know better.
Hey, yeah, you see these dudes. I know it's tough because we hitters, man. We hitters first. And it's tough seeing some of these dudes nowadays, man, swinging and missing and strikeouts don't even matter no more too much, man. You know, I'll be like, dude, gosh, it's a whole different way now, man. But anyway, my man, question asked, he said, are you coaching anywhere or do you have a travel ball team?
Man, you know what? To be honest, I thought about doing that like 2 years ago, but trying to get people here in Mississippi to do it, you have some greedy people, man. And see, I'm not.
Mm.
If it was me, I pay for the kids to be on my team if they're the ones that have a chance of getting into the big schools or going somewhere like going forward. But it wasn't always about money. It was, I had guys that always came to me, man, if your name goes and and I put it with mine, we can get $1,000 a kid. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, man, we stealing money from these parents, man. But then again, I understand that these kids aren't good enough, but I want to take these kids to the Atlanta and to these places that are outside of Mississippi, but at least the parents could help me meet them halfway. But these guys was trying to steal money, so I was like, no, I'm not doing the travel ball thing. But a lot of people were like, well, you ought to go back to school and get your degree and become a coach. And I'm sitting there like, I'm gonna tell you something. With these kids in high school and what they're doing now, I say, don't nobody want to listen, and don't nobody understand what it means to work hard. I say, I'm not about to sit in this classroom and tell this kid, hey, this is what I went through. And then having to show them, and then they like, oh, you old and all of this. No, I wanted to do it on a more higher level. So I went 2 years ago to San Francisco and I asked, is there any potential openings? Because I would rather do it on the minor league level because, that's more like where the kids are more polished because, we do camps here. Right. Me, Curtis Granderson, and, a couple other people, we do camps here in Mississippi. We just had one here January around Martin Luther King holiday. And MLB is behind it, and they saw it and they approved it for next year. And so where we go into the inner cities and we get these kids and they sign up for free. And so I had maybe 100 kids that sign up here, and Granderson up in Jackson, he had probably 300 or something like that. So we do 3 cities in 3 days. And that's what we do. But, far as coaching, that was something up my sleeve. But, I opened this business here is where I'm at right now. I own a daiquiri shop. So, and that's something that, came to my mind this time last year. And so that's what I'm doing right now. And it's actually taking off, man. And, the mayor, the chief of police, and everybody is behind me. So it's been pretty good.
What's it called?
The Press Box. The Press Box Daiquiri Lounge.
Nice. Congratulations, man. Congrats.
And you can find us up on Facebook and Instagram.
All right. At the end, I'm gonna post all of that. Your social media is personal. If you want to share your Twitter handles and also your business. All right.
Okay. So the
all right.
Go ahead. My bad.
Go ahead.
Southern. Where
Oh, my bad. I was okay. So DR says Southern. Where are most recruits that attend Southern? Where are most recruits from that attend Southern? I think he meant to say DR.
Okay, where
He
they
played. He
from?
played with the Twins organization.
Okay,
Yeah.
so where they from? Most recruits. As of right now, because I met up with Ricky and a couple of other guys, and Southern has taken a turn, and what they done. Most recruits at the time when I was going to school, most of them were from Louisiana, and a lot of recruits now have turned away from baseball and they've gone to basketball and football. And so, what me and Curtis Grandison are trying to do is to gather more kids, African American, to play the game of baseball. And MLB is behind it, and they're wanting us to go out into the inner cities to get these kids because, as you know, that the percentage is down in Major League Baseball. So most recruits now, I think they're going from, shoot, you got a lot of hungry guys from Latin America that's coming here, you know, and wanting to gather jobs. I mean, but, you can't beg people to play the game of baseball. And when you got people that are in
Mm.
foreign countries that are like, man, I come over there just to get, over here just so I can take care of my family. Shoot, give me that
Mm.
scholarship,
Mm.
But the
Mm.
thing is, I think
Mm.
that they, are more hungrier, you know, because I played in the Dominican Republic and I saw it for myself. Man, these kids, I mean, I know school is first, but baseball is first over there. And they are
Yeah.
trying to get off those islands and trying to get here to play the game of baseball. And like for
Mm.
me, I went to Japan and I saw it over there. Like, yes, they work harder over there than we do here. And from playing over there, man, I learned a lot. When I did actually come back here and play, I was like, man, it made me respect the game of baseball here and over there, because yeah, we do play the
Mm.
game
Mm.
differently than they do, but they play the game a heck of a lot
Mm.
harder.
Mm. You ain't lying, and you like me. I went out to Dominican, and you see why they be lying about their age and trying when you see how they live, man. You know what I'm saying? So, um, Coach Steele is the recruiting coordinator at Mississippi Valley State, and he says, in your opinion, was SWAC baseball that much of a difference from Mississippi JUCO baseball? JUCO and SWAC guy here himself.
Um, you know what? When I was playing, we, there was I don't know what school is he from, but where he went to school at or whatever. But at the time, I know that there was a team, and I ain't gonna call their name out or put them out there like that. But there was a team that hadn't won a game in 5 years, and we played them, and they played us the hardest, and they hadn't won, and forget it. TSU, I think that's who it was. They was so bad that I was saying to myself, where these guys come from? You know, but I'm not gonna lie. I think JUCO baseball to me at the time was probably more, competition versus HBCU. But when you putting up numbers like Ricky, you know, I honestly think that you can go to HBCU university, you can go to JUCO or whatever, and put those types of numbers up. You know, if you're gonna put those types of numbers
Mm.
up, because I mean, dang, the kid almost hit 500. You know, and like when you get your first hit in the big league, you hitting 1,000, and then to keep it at 400 to 500 for 50 games,
Yeah,
man,
that's
that's a great
crazy.
accomplishment.
Yeah,
So, you know,
you ain't lying. You ain't lying. So is Low Dog? People are saying Low Dog is your cousin. Is Matt Lawton your cousin?
Yeah, Matt is my cousin. Actually saw him a couple of days ago. He came by my shop. So
Tell,
um, yeah,
tell
Matt
Low Dog
played
that's
at
what's up,
Gulf
man.
Coast. So yeah,
Yeah, I heard that too. That's what I was saying. Yeah. So Damon Iris, he played in the Twins organization. He knows Law Dog from the Twins, and
yep.
yeah, tell him I said what's up, man. We had some battles back in the day. Tell Law Dog I said what's up. I ain't know y'all was family like that.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he was the actual man. He took
But
care of me.
yeah, he was a funny dude, man. Quiet, but he was a funny dude, man. Put up some numbers though. He had a nice career, man. Yeah, but the Terrence said he played at East Central Community College.
Who's that?
Are you familiar with East Central? That was the dude that was talking about with the axe, the SWAC, and the junior college question.
Oh, he played at East Central.
Terrence
He went
Steele,
to,
he's a recruiting coordinator.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
East Central.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think it. You know what? It's great competition in JUCO, man. Like, you know, guys often get drafted. I was just training a kid probably a year ago, and I told him he's from Pascagoula, Mississippi, and he's
Okay.
probably like shoot, he's probably like 6'4", and he's a pitcher, and so he was going to these showcases and stuff like that, and he had plenty of schools looking at him, and I told his mom, I know his mom really well. I told her because she came to me and asked me a question like, "Do you think he should go to a university?" And I told her no. I told her, I say, go to, I
Mm,
say, he just come out of high school. I say,
mm-hmm.
he can get picked up after, I mean, because think about it. When you go into these showcases and you got scouts all around, they want to keep tabs on you to where, okay, you next in line because next year, you know, you may put some stupid numbers up like I did and we can come get you. Versus you put that year, you put it in your back pocket, but you got 2 more years before I can even come get you or say something to you. So
Preach,
I told her,
preach.
I say, hey, make him go to Gulf Coast. I say, because for one, his velocity has gone up since I worked with him. He was throwing
Mm-hmm.
84, now he's throwing 89, 90. And
Mm.
now that's where he signed at. And I told her, I say, you'll thank me later because he can go there, get his associate, he can go wherever he want to after that.
I from doing these shows, late the last most of the time I bring on college coaches, more so than I bring on guys like yourself and Old Dog or people like that, man. But even like a dude like Orlando and pretty much even my boy Nick Green on here, Green, it's everybody that I talk to all started at junior college. And I started seeing for myself, because I didn't experience that, but I started seeing like how many guys got they started junior college to the point where I'm like, junior college is almost a no-brainer to me if you are a high school kid coming out and baseball is your number one, even a two-sport guy like you, but Mississippi got a different JUCO football level. Your JUCO in Mississippi is big time. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
but the but for a baseball player, with to play junior college baseball, you can get play right away, you get bigger, stronger, faster, and if you nice, you put up some numbers, you get drafted right. You get drafted right out of junior college, and not worry about, what I'm saying, going to that D1. And so it sounds like that's what you told that parent, right?
Right. Um, to touch on junior college, Russell Martin and Jose Batista went to Chipola Junior College right there in Florida.
Really?
Yeah, and I played against them, and I didn't
I
even
didn't know
know
that.
it. And Those two guys, they went to Chipola, and look at those guys. You know, Russell Martin still got something in the tank, and you know, it's nothing wrong
Right.
with going to a junior college.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, and that's what I was. Terrence, he said he witnessed it firsthand with former teammate Tim Anderson. JUCO ball is a grind and great competition. You know, Mississippi JUCO. He played with Tim Anderson. You know.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, with the Sox, right?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shortstop with the Sox.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I like him.
So and but yeah, he can play, man. Dude can play. Say he hit for almost 500 too as a sophomore, and that's how he got drafted first round out of junior college. You know.
That's what's
So
up.
um, yeah, man. So listen, I wanted to couple questions, man, and I appreciate you taking out this time, man. But
No problem,
why
man.
do you feel like I want to kind of from the junior college level, but more so I want to talk more about the Southern and HBCU side. Why do you feel like more the really good especially black ball players don't really want to consider the HBCUs like it's beneath them. You know what I'm saying? And they looking to go to these big time schools. You know what I'm saying? What do you think that stigma? Why do you think some HBCUs got that stigma to them? You know what I mean?
Um, First of all, I think one, the quote unquote all black African American, of course, they think that it's all black. But no, you have white people that go there also, but it's not, you know, heavily like on somebody's agenda to go to a HBCU. I think honestly, you know, like for me, when I overlooked it, and now I tell kids don't overlook HBCU. Um, you know, a lot of people don't want to think small. A lot of people don't want to be at the schools where the dorms where, like, because a lot of people go to these HBCUs and, and a lot of these dorms and stuff like that, a lot of people just don't want to, experience it. And, not to put any of them down or anything like that, but it just, I mean, I honestly believe that if, like the kid from Mississippi State, he said something about the flag. If everybody would join him that's on that team, African American, and go to a HBCU school and put all of them on the map, then we won't be talking about this. Because a lot of kids think that, oh, I got to go to the big school in order to do this, and I honestly think if they don't put pull that flag here in Mississippi, that kid is gonna walk, and I think you're gonna find a lot of other, you know, college athletes that's gonna do the same thing, and they're gonna be transferring. But you know, I like I said, me personally, I don't see nothing wrong with it. Going to a small school or whatnot, but then sometimes it can like break you, because I had a kid that went from Mississippi Gulf Coast Community College and went to William Carey right up the road, and he hit 391 with 22 home runs. Didn't get drafted. But what it was is that this is Matt Cousin, and we've told him that he needed to lose some weight. But he didn't, you know, he didn't listen to us. But, Matt called me, hey, can you get him up there to independent ball? Yeah, I can get him there. Made a few phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
They said, man, these numbers are crazy, but we're full. So, I mean, call some other people, then they got them out there. But when you're overweight, trying to play 100+ games, you're just not going to be able to do it. And that's the reason why
Mm.
that team didn't waste any money on it. Because
Mm.
you have to listen, and you got to be coachable. You want to be coachable. Okay,
Mm.
well, if they said that I need to lose some weight, well, dog, I'm finna be out there in the bleacher running, doing something,
Mm.
because hey, we
Mm.
talking about $5,000. I'm overweight
Mm-hmm.
when you know, I get skinny. We talking about 100,000s, you know. But I know now, and he's been in my business, and I know now that he's like kicking himself in his head right now because he didn't listen. But now you gotta go to a 9 to 5 every day, because hey, Matt or myself would never tell you anything wrong, man. If it dealing with baseball, we're gonna
Mm.
try to help you. But when you have your own
Mm.
hitting agenda, you know,
Mm.
okay, you
Mm.
take care of it on your own.
Mm. You ain't lying. You preaching right there. Looking we got a next question that come in. It says, should the NCAA change the rules and have one and done for baseball like basketball, allow kids to get drafted after 1 year?
I think so. I think they should. I think they should change that. Wait 3 years in at the university level. I mean, for baseball, no. I think they should change it. At least 2 years. At least they need to go back. But because think about it, football gives a full scholarship. Baseball, you get a partial. You know, and I don't know if basketball get full scholarships or whatnot, but kids that playing baseball, I mean, and that's part of the reasons that the big schools doesn't have as many African Americans because we can't afford it. We cannot afford to go on a partial scholarship to Southern Miss on a partial scholarship. So these are parents that really have good jobs and they send their kids to these schools. Okay, that's part of the reason why you see less of us out there. If we go there, okay, if I can afford to send my kid to Southern Miss, and I know how my pockets are set up, I can do it for 2 years. Money gonna run out. Okay, then that third year, okay,
Mm.
we can't put them in there. But yeah, I think they should because you know
Mm.
parents don't have to worry about it playing football because the school take care of it. Oh, he got a full scholarship. Oh, they
Mm.
gonna take care of it. So yeah, I honestly think that.
Mm.
That was a good question.
Mm. Yeah, I agree with it too. All right, next one is let me see. What was his most memorable experience going to Southern that can inspire the youth of today to go to an HBCU?
Um, Most memorable experience. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Shoot, man, I think going to Southern and getting drafted in the second round, like you know, going there for 1 year and don't know anybody there and putting up numbers that you know God knows if anybody else could do it, and getting drafted in the second round. That I think that could inspire a lot of kids to go to an HBCU. Like, if he can, why
Mm.
can't I? You know, like that should be a challenge for anybody. Like for me, I like
Mm.
challenges. If somebody told me that,
Mm.
hey, I bet you can't jump over this fence, I promise you in private, I'm gonna go try it and see if I can. But then when the camera start rolling, I bet you I do it. But my thing is that I experienced something totally different than anybody because being from Stone County, Mississippi, you know, where home of this rebel flag, I went with, where my parents had to use separate, water fountains and going to this same school and still growing up in the same community and with so much hate. Going to an all black school was different for me because I expected it to be like what I went to, like the JUCO or whatever. And that was part of the reason why I felt like I was above the HBCU to try to go to Texas A&M. So I felt like I had to go there. So that's the reason why I felt like, man, I need to, go to a Texas A&M. But, nah, I don't need that, and I'm happy that I went to the HBCU because, now I can tell my kid, think small before you try to walk.
I love it, man. You say you took it as a challenge to essentially say, listen, I'm gonna go to a smaller school, I'm gonna play right away, and make a name for myself. I don't need the A&M name or the Big 12 or the SEC or whatever to make a name for me. I'm gonna go put my own name, put my numbers up, and let my play do the talking. Where I could do this in any conference.
Exactly.
I love it.
That's the main thing.
I love it. So the
you got
a couple more, man. I'm gonna get you out of here,
trying to find a phone charger.
Brian, what's up, man? Oh, you about okay. You about to hit? You about to?
No, I gotta find a phone
battery about to go out.
I had one over here, but go ahead. I'm listening.
Yeah, Brian, my boy Brian says, ask Freddie, was Hagerstown the worst outfield he ever played on, or was there a more sloped outfield elsewhere?
Was it Hagerstown was terrible, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. Hagerstown was like by far, man. It was like all of these places that I went to was like a culture shock for me because being from Mississippi, I ain't never experienced Mississippi.
You break it up a little bit. I guess we haven't him moving. We got a little bit. Hopefully it'll come back in.
Okay. Yeah, okay. My phone messed it up. I don't know. But yeah, it was a good experience.
Listen, I gave him a little bit of time to come back in. What he just said. He said he took it upon himself to go to an HBCU and make a name for himself, where many other kids. You back on? Can you hear?
Yeah. I can hear you.
Can you hear?
I'm trying to get my. Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Cool. Because you had went out for a little bit, but yeah, they. But I was just telling them about your story about how you took on a challenge, and so many people think that they got to go to that big school, that name school to get seen. That's why I wanted to bring you on here, man. You second round, Ricky first round, you second round, man. Out of the HBCUs, man. It's just if you can play, you can play. Right? I think we lost him. I think he hit that. Once you turn that call on, hit that in, that Bluetooth, they go out. So I'm waiting for him to come back on and we join him. But I'm gonna ask Freddie. I got the couple questions over there. We're gonna head out here. We've been going on about an hour and a half, man. But I appreciate you guys, joining in, and These last couple of weeks, I just wanted to kind of shift a little bit to this HBCU talk and just to, you know, um, I'm a big advocate on junior colleges. I'm a big advocate on HBCUs, man. Just because, I don't hate no big school. You know what I'm saying? If you can play, you can go and ball out. But I don't want you to think that that's the only way. And I was like that. At high school, I'm like most, kids out there. But that's what I like hearing about the Freddie, the Ricky Weeks. I'm gonna try to get Rick on too, and where they share their stories and they ball out. Or the Tim Andersons or Coach Steele's, junior college teammate, first round pick out of junior college. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what's possible if you're nice, if you can play. You know what I'm saying? Do people get overlooked? Yes. All right. Can playing in the SEC or ACC help you? You know what I'm saying? Yes, if you're playing. All right. But he just told you the story of his brother when it started, and the guys that kind of came in, guys that came in later. He talked about early the reason he went to Southern because his brother went to a mid-major college and essentially was platooning, and it cost him hundreds of thousands of dollars. Where he told his brother, like, don't go through that. Go to a HBCU or a smaller school where you get an opportunity to play right away and put up your numbers. And he listened to his brother, but it's sad that his brother had to go through it for that to happen. And that's why I want to share these messages to the people out here. I had Mizzou on. I had other SEC schools and big time programs on. And again, I don't poo-poo those guys, you know what I'm saying? But most kids will be in that mid-major down level, junior colleges and all of that, all right? And you can make it out of there. You don't have to feel like you got to go to the big time schools to AKA be seen or make it. You don't have to do that, man. And sit for a year or two. You want to play. And if your goal is to, do that, then, it is what it is. So let me Fred is back on. Let me get him back in here and we go. You know what I'm saying? So 1 minute. One second. Give me 1 second. I'm out of one. He's here. All right. Get him on here. Why does it keep going out? 1 second. I'm trying to come on and just give me 1 second. He's gonna back on here. Trying to get him. This shit is. One more try, and then we're gonna see. I'm gonna get him. That should be it. We should be good. All right, Steve. I see you there. But anyway, I want to get him. For some reason, not letting me come back on and cut him in. My bad. You know, I'm try. While I'm talking, man, and I see with the push of more black players, don't you think that MLB should have more combined type workouts for the HBCUs during their seasons? With the push of more black players, don't you think that the MLB should have more combine type workouts for the HBCUs during their seasons? Fred, you hear me, man?
I'm here.
You can hear me?
Can you hear me?
Okay, cool. All right. Yeah. All right, we good. All right, welcome back, man. Let me. There's a few more messages that came in. I want you to ask. Coach Steele says one of the biggest problems HBCUs are having now is so many people talk down on HBCU, making student athletes in all sports feel as if they're not good enough to attend. That's a true statement. I thought that was a question, but yeah, true statement. Truth. I believe HBCUs need more advertisement to speak on more positive things that come out of AT2 for both my daughters attend Florida. It's at both he's going. All right. A couple more questions. Let me get you out of there. Amateur swap Facebook compared to most people. All right. Let's get this question in here by D Rob. I want to ask this question to you. D Rob says, with the push for more black players, don't you think that MLB should have more combine type workouts for the HBCUs during the seasons?
Combine type workouts. The black players don't you think the MLB should have? Yeah, because I honestly think that if they trying to, get the numbers up, because think about this. When you go to the Dominican Republic, they have little stations and everything for them set up. Like for what I mean by stations, like facilities. They have Giants. San Francisco Giants has a facility in the Dominican that they attend. And yes, I honestly think that they should go into these inner cities and have more workouts. Yeah, somebody need to stand up and push for that. Because it's yeah. I mean, here we in America. They think that they should just go to high school or college. But what about the kids? Okay, for instance, NFL, and we talking about the the name, the beer man, with the Saints. This guy used to drive truck for a beer company and went and tried out for the Saints and he got on the team. So yes, I honestly think
I
that they
remember.
should
Mm-hmm.
have those types of workouts and those types of facilities down here just for that.
I agree. Yep. Uh, Now the Coach Steele says, let me say this. Let me get these last couple questions in, man. 100% true. We need our top African American athletes to attend, and the money will start
Yep.
pouring into these schools. Sporting brands will follow where they can make money. And
Yep.
I know you're hearing now some of the top young black basketball players are thinking about attending, HBCUs, and I think that'd be a nice little move, and maybe the young baseball players are following their footsteps.
Right. Right. Yeah, I think they should,
All right.
because if what's going on in this world right now, if it doesn't wake some of these athletes up, like let's stop making all of these major universities all of this money, and let's just go and let's get these guys up off the ground. Then they can have better facilities, better dorms, and better roads and stuff like that. But when you giving, these universities making millions and millions of dollars off of these guys, and they can't give them none of it. I mean, I think it's trash, you know. And yes, I'm all for the these kids getting paid in college. I'm all for it because it's tough to go to college and live off of $200 in your pocket every for a month. Man, that's hard to do. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, and I don't know how much how long $200 will go for a kid in college, because for me it went a long way, because hey, I lived on campus. A lot of kids now don't live on campus, and it
Right.
it may go a long way, but it may last 2 days. It may not. But I'm all for it.
Mhm. Uh, my boys, Blacks in Baseball said, why can't the black players create the academies? Why do we need the MLB to do anything?
Um, well, like my guy Brian Nelson say, we ought to create our own league. We ought to come together and we can do it. But you know, um, I'm for it. But you know, like yeah, we gonna need the MLB because that's where all the money is. So we gonna need them. But if we all take a stand and do it on our own, hey, we really don't. But at some point you're gonna have to because you're gonna have to cross that path to where, okay, think about it. $300 million contracts. I'm looking at like, dang, how are we gonna pay that? We can't possibly pay that, and these, you know, somebody's gonna be underpaid. Because you got these smart agents that, hey, they're gonna at some point leave our league and go to the major leagues because, okay, well, this guy is just like in the Negro leagues when they went and got Jackie Robinson. You know, you know,
Mm-hmm.
uh, shoot, I know,
Frank Ricky.
Willie Mays told me this story. About Hank Aaron
Mm-hmm.
and all these guys when they were playing. Like it was tough playing in those days. Where black and white TV. You know, we got color TV now. So
Mm-hmm.
to the point to where you put up numbers in our league and then you go and the scout sees you and he like, oh, well, we can get him and bring him to the major league. So at some point, yeah, you're gonna be good enough to play in our league, but they're gonna come and get you with more money and take you away from our league. So I mean, eventually we're gonna lose money.
Mm-hmm. He said he said he means uh he said he means the not league, just academies to train the kids.
Oh man, we don't need. I mean, like I train kids, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and I do it for free. So you don't need the MLB or anybody to train anyone. We have the the smarts to train kids. I mean, but like a lot of people have turned to powerlifting, and then all of this here kind of stuff. It goes for so long, but them tendons tend to tear away. That's why we have so many injuries in baseball. So what happened to building those small muscles? Because back in the day, like you didn't see so many Tommy John surgeries. You got guys now like power pitchers. They tearing rotator cuffs. They tearing, you know, because they building muscle, not baseball like type, you know, shape. So I mean, a lot of people, I get it. You want to have that beach body, but it's not baseball. So it's all about being smart and building your body about body, not a football. A lot of people build our bodies to play baseball. So
Mm-hmm.
you have to be smart about building your body and on the right, and the right supplements. You know, and I always been a guy. I that had a foot body, and a lot of people was jealous of it. And I walked around the clubhouse with my shirt off just for that reason because they were jealous. And yes, you know, they were white.
That's right. Hey, listen, Freddie, man. I'm gonna get you out of this, man. I appreciate the time, man. We going on about an hour and 40 minutes, man, and man, got a lot of beautiful nuggets, man. Just great catching up with you. One and two, just great, sharing your stories, man. And I think, basically, especially when it comes to black dudes that made it, to the league, it's a very small, group of us, and Hopefully in the near future it gets bigger to back to it was in the 70s and the 80s, and I think baseball is going back to that way. It's just going to take time. But I would love for you, man. I have all my guests that come on, man. I'd like for you to share. You've been giving nuggets all day, but if you can, man, share a message, man, to the parents. It could be about anything that you feel like you need to share to close this interview on out, man.
Appreciate you for having me, man. Thank you for because we had a day today here at my job. So I mean, got me away from thinking about that. So man, I appreciate you having me on here, man. You can have me on here anytime.
I appreciate um parents, man. I just want to kind of refresh what this man said, what he's been through, obstacles, to get to where um, lessons learned. And, obviously the fact that he had an older brother that schooled him. He got a cousin that's, what I'm saying, been in the league and played in the league, went to junior college route, played two sports, then just relied, kept, essentially making sure that he just wasn't going to not give himself every chance to make it, even if it was in two sports. And so that's why, I love bringing on guys, especially guys that have made it. To inspire the parents that's listening in that have young baseball players out there trying to grind and trying to make it. And it ain't too many guys that obviously played in the HBCU that has make it that made it for whatever the stigma is, and that's why I'm trying to break that. And so I appreciate my boy Freddie coming on in and sharing those messages, man. And so anyway, without further ado, Fred, tomorrow we have Coach Jamie Schulp from FAMU coming on. We got FAMU head coach coming on tomorrow. And so tomorrow, parents, 4 p.m. Eastern, we're gonna keep this ball rolling. Freddie, I appreciate you, my brother. Thank you so much for coming on, man. Blessings to you, my guy. I know you're busy out there with the shop. And oh yeah, by the way, we did put the comment section. My boy put the in the comments the Daiquiri, the business Facebook business page. Do you want anything else to post the comments as far as your Instagram or anything regarding your business or your personal, Twitter or anything like that?
Man, I'm getting some bad feedback this thing though, but I think
Oh, okay. All right. No.
something about that.
Yeah. Don't. Yeah. I was just saying, as far as um, yeah. You got an Instagram? Anything about that? Anything?
It's going in and out. It's real bad. I was trying to move it around to try
All right.
to
Don't
see
worry
if
about it. All right. Yeah.
I can
No problem. No
it'll
problem,
go.
man. No problem. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get it from him in the background, and I'm gonna post it on there. So just if you're in that Mississippi area, go support my man over here, and lessons or anything like that, reach out to my guy. All right, guy, major league experience, college connections, everything like that, man. So listen, I will be on 4 p.m. tomorrow. I appreciate you guys. Freddie, thank you so much for coming in. I'm gonna say peace and love to you guys. FAMU head coach Jamie Shook coming on tomorrow. Be there. I appreciate you. Thanks, Freddie. I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you, man. This is getting real bad,
All
so
right.
I catching every
It's
other
all
word.
good. It's all good. All right. It's all good. Appreciate you, my brother. Thank you, man. I'll holler at you, man.
All right, bro.